What's going on, boys? Today we are talking a bit about fearful avoidance, how it's evolved in my life. Now, if you don't know what fearful avoidance is, it's an attachment style. I ran across attachment styles in my quest to fix whatever was wrong before I realized none of it matters and you're never fixing anything. All these systems are good for is understanding why things are the way they are. And attachment styles are much easier to grasp and are more useful for understanding the important stuff than even MBTI typology in general is. But I'm guessing you already know that, so we will get straight into it. Now, in the past, I managed fearful avoidance, the desire to be close with people and to feel safe and secure and give and receive affection, while knowing all relationships are transactional and you are only safe as long as you are creating some category of value and the people you're dealing with want the sort of value you are providing, provided you're providing any. I managed that with isolation and observation. It wasn't hard to participate in society without really participating in society. Isolation hurts, but it hurts less than and is less taxing than unsafe socialization. And when I say unsafe, I mean feeling you can't really trust anyone. I would rather not have what I want at all than attempt socialization and trust, thinking I might get what I want, and then being tricked, maybe not intentionally, into badly wanting trust and affection, and then ending up back where I started not having what I want, except now I'm dumb and hurt for trying. Reminded again of the selfish gene stuff. You're an object being evaluated by value, typically by how well you can validate someone else's bullshit while asking or taking as little as possible in return. How well can someone use you to affirm their own beliefs, their own self image, or their own goals? And once you've observed and experienced that pattern enough times, it gets drilled in like flinching before somebody hits you. But that's not necessarily guarding, which is what we'll get to. In the past, I mentioned isolation and observation. My method was observing everyone for a while and determining the people I might be able to get along with. If there seemed to be no chance at getting along, or at least getting along in the way I want to get along, which is aligned trajectories, lots of communication, trying to figure things out, then they wouldn't even really register as people. Because when you try to achieve those kind of connections indiscriminately, you run face first into that primordial truth a lot quickly, and it does not feel good. But when I would meet people who seemed on the level or close to on the level, we would socialize and things would be good. And over time, you can almost trick yourself into feeling safe. You don't have to build walls because you're being hyper selective. But when things go wrong, as they do, it hurts a whole lot worse. It hurts because you realize you are not solving the problem, you are trying to get better at deluding yourself. Because you won't solve the problem because it's not a problem that can be solved. And after going through that enough times, my thought process changed a bit. Anything you're given can be taken and will be taken. Whatever it is, you are subsisting off others' charity. And you can't trust people because the only reason they are being charitable is because they currently perceive you as an opportunity to affirm something in their corner or about themselves. The moment that perception stops, even if it's on their end, nothing you did, your existence stops. So the only way to feel more secure is not to receive, but to take, and to be more calculated in your taking. You're selling people what they want to get what you want, or if not what you want, then what you need, and you are practicing it, taking an active role to hedge against the selfish gene. In others, anyway. It applies to you too. But the isolation and observation style of fearful avoidance was then. Now that I've moved, I am in a new phase of fearful avoidance. I am trying the hustle grinding lifestyle to be 100% sure I hate it and everyone who participates in it. And as a result of that decision and the area I'm in, I cannot isolate. I have 3 jobs, 1 volunteering thing, and possibly soon a 2nd volunteering thing. All of which involve dealing with people constantly. And all the practice, the typology, the self-help books, the practicing communication, it's all made me more effective, and materially and superficially socially, things are going well, but that success all hinges on everything I mentioned earlier. People care about you only insofar as they can validate themselves somehow. Even if they think they are helping you, they are using you. And if you don't want to be used, you have to use them, get better at giving them what they want, so you can get what you want. But anything you gain from that process comes from that process. You aren't being yourself. Even if you were, even if your self succeeded, yourself succeeds only because you are easier to use. Naturally, you validate something in some sort of person. As I mentioned earlier, when you're dealing with a lot of people, you see that pattern constantly. And even if you get better at it, get better at gaming that social system, your success proves things are the way they appear to be, that people are objects, that the only thing anyone cares about is the value an object can produce. As a result, I've had to build real, serious walls. Not just around small, little things inside or from specific people, but generally. And I've had to go on the offensive in terms of being, quotes, nice. I want to be a good person, but I am hyper aware of the fact I am doing these nice things consciously with intentions. I'm doing these things in these locations at these times because I want as many people to like me as possible. Humanity makes trying to be a good person feel shitty. And maybe you do good things on the down low too, but you're masturbating. It all puts you in a weird situation. You've implemented a system founded on an ugly perception of reality, and you hope all it is a perception. And then it isn't because it works. Now you aren't just observing or being acted on, you are acting on others and getting the same results, which means you're now inundated with what appear to be opportunities to get what you want, which is, I hate that adjective, but genuine connection. And you can't take any of them because you know exactly what will happen. You're getting taunted with tempting trap. I really hate alliteration. You're you're getting taunted with tempting traps. You aren't taking the opportunities because you know they aren't real opportunities, and maybe stupid you tried taking one of the opportunities just to make sure, and your suspicions were proven right. Again, and you are building the appearance of a social network that isn't real and you can't let yourself enjoy. It's like you are bringing a lot of people very close externally so you can internally keep them as far away as possible. So when the using happens, you aren't the one who gets used, or if you are the one who gets used, it doesn't hurt. Key points. People like the idea of you more than they will ever like you or even know about you. Who you are or how you feel inside doesn't matter. People want objects that suit them. You can get better at gaming that reality, but you can't change it. This video's a mess, but I'm trying to put into words why I am right now surrounded by people on positive, very positive terms, and I still feel alone and unsafe. These circumstances exist only because of a series of transactions, meaning you're safer than if they were handed to you because you negotiated them, but they exist only insofar as you continue to negotiate well, meaning you can't really relax. That's always the case, and if you don't believe that, try not negotiating so well and see what happens. But it would be nice not to be hyper aware of it at all times, or to have developed into an entity that can negotiate well naturally without having to think about it, meaning you can be happy. You can feel safe because you are naturally inclined to generate or negotiate safer circumstances. But because this video is already a mess, let's cap it off with some contempt. I think the reason I hate self-help people so much is because I used to be one. Or at least I was someone who used self-help thinking using self-help would create happiness and fix the world. And I believed it and felt good because my circumstances allowed that belief to exist. Whether that is chemically, financially, socially, whatever, probably a big combination, I was able to do a thing and feel happy. Not because self help generates happiness, but because I was in an environment that was more conducive to allowing self help to generate happiness. It's easy to feel happy when you are unaware and haven't been mutilated. And each time reality proved a self help method to be useless in the face of reality, I would hurry along and adopt another one. Use it, push it on other people, try to validate my own ideas about the way the world should work and the way I should feel by doing this ritual and criticizing other people for not following that ritual. That's who I was. You can go back on my channel and find it. The reason self-help people, I think, get me so mad is someone is telling me to do something I have found through experience not to work, and then getting self-righteous about it instead of focusing on their own shit, which they aren't doing because it's not working. They're chasing a dragon. Why do you think every few years a new edgy self-help phenom pops up? Because the last one didn't work, and now we need a new distraction and standard to judge people by. And I thought after all these years that sort of person would start to go away, but they aren't. In fact, they're growing in number. And it's like everywhere I look, I'm looking at an insufferable younger version of myself, and I want to strangle them and me. If you need a hero to look up to, choose a dead person whose philosophy boils down to do what thou wilt. But that ought to do it for now. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Like if you enjoyed, because that helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes, and comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. But thanks again for watching, everybody. Really, we have a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact, we can spill it out of our mouths with no sense or direction, because that's how much fun we have. That's how much we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.